Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's 6:30. It really is 6:30 on Wednesday, July 24th, 2019, and I would like to welcome all of you to the clubhouse for the monthly meeting of the Board of Directors of the Pine Ridge Condominium Association at 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard. The meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Please be seated.
I said Hitler did that.
Okay, we will now have the roll call.
Janet Miranda.
Here.
Ken Jerome.
Absent.
John Fricker. Obviously I'm here. Scott Harris. Here. Mike Lalande.
Absent.
Isabel Costanzo.
Absent.
Phil Schifano.
Here.
That's it.
That's it? Okay. We have 4 members, which constitutes a board for the meeting. A quorum constitutes a quorum. Okay. Did you put up, there was proof of notice put up?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Okay, on the open forum, do we have anyone?
I have one, Mr. Barkman.
Mr. Mike Barkman. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fine, Janet. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
I came up a couple months ago, actually it's been more than a couple, and I know I spoke with Eric as well about this. I'm a little concerned about the waterfall from the gutter that hasn't been repaired yet behind our condo building on 9650. Down on the floor now on the first level, it looks like it's more than dirt. It actually looks like mold is growing on the carpet down there. So I would really like an update on when we're going to get that, at least the gutter repaired so they can stop any progression of what looks like mold. And I know that the carpet will eventually be removed and replaced. So
yeah, like if there's slippery type mold, because it's common on all the carpeting here, then we have to clean it because carpet gets moldy when it's outside. Let us know, we'll clean it. Brett from the roofing company, who I think you've met before, he told me that they would be here in 2 weeks to take care of that, and that was about 2 weeks ago. So I'm expecting them this week. We'll touch base with him and find out, but any day, there's a whole new gutter on that line.
I just wanted to let you know my concerns, because I think it is a health issue, and I mean, it does look like mold. I can't confirm that it is, but it's certainly not dirt.
Well, I can tell you it's mold. I mean, there's mold outside, and indoor-outdoor carpet attracts mold. It's not the type of mold that you're going to breathe in and it's going to hurt you, like could be in your house type of thing. It's moisture, but it's mold just like what's in the air. Yeah, it's moisture.
Has Brett given you a timeline when you might be working on those gutters then?
He told me 2 weeks ago that they would be here in 2 weeks, so they should be here.
I would like it.
And he's done everything he's said he was going to do so far, so I'm hoping that he doesn't screw it up here.
Well, that would be given a priority, Eric. I'd really appreciate it, and I think the people in the building would too.
Yeah, no, there's about 10 of them on a list, and I'm on this guy all the time, and they promise, so they better come through.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the minutes from the previous meeting. What would you say? Would you like to read them, or do you want to?
I don't have the.
Do we want to read them, or do we want to waive them?
You want to
Make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes.
Okay, second for that motion.
I don't do a motion that we.
You second.
I second it.
Yeah. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. What was this for? Manager's report.
Good evening, everybody.
We can't hear you.
You can, maybe they can.
No, they can't, see? You want to use my mic, maybe it's better for you.
So we've had a lot of large projects going on around the community, as I'm sure you all have seen. Back to back, one on top of the other. The weather has kind of thrown monkey wrenches into things, and overall, we're moving right along. I mean, we can only react to the weather. We can't do anything to
Change it.
change it. You know, we can just anticipate and react. But we're going to talk about some of the projects as part of the agenda. Some of them I'll address here in the manager's report. But there's a lot of action going on around the community. This month we did our sod projects. You know, we started our seal coating a week before when we had a week of rain, and then the heat wave came, and that was when the sod farm had the delivery. So it worked out very well for us. That was, only it would have been reversed, you know? But the sod is doing good. There's a couple of areas that we still have to finish, and then there's a couple of hot spots that I want the contractor to come and bring some extra and take care of for us, kind of under warranty. But overall, it's greened up and it's very nice. I hope those of you who requested it so long are happy with the results. Unhappy. Well, we have some that are happy and some that are not. This month we put down, end of this week, first of next week, we will remake the landscaping along the expanded pool walkway. You notice it's kind of bare and unfinished. It will be finished. Security program that we've instituted seems to be going well. I receive daily activity reports from the guards. There's not much activity. That's a good thing, I would say. When there is activity, it's noted and we react either by giving them specific direction on what we want them to do if it ever happens again, or yeah, basically coming up with a protocol. Every situation that we're encountering is kind of new. A community with a security program like this would have a handbook of everything, line by line, and we're kind of putting that together now. But I think overall it's doing a good job because the number of incidents that I'm hearing about are less. Now I don't know if that's a function of season, but the kids are out of school, you would think there might be a little more mischief, and we really haven't, so that's kind of a good thing. Roofing is complete, except with the exception of the gutters and soffit that they have to repair, which is number one. They they use an outside screen company. They tore half a dozen or so people's screens, you know, when they were throwing material up and down. So they're going to come and replace those screens for those people. And then we had a couple of people with flat tires and things like that. They were reimbursed for their cost to repair the tire. So that project is just about there. We're about 98.5% there. We got an update from our lake service that the lake is doing well. We haven't put the fish in yet. I want to let the water get a little bit higher. It has, so we'll probably go ahead and do the fish stocking soon. I know everybody likes to get a staff update every now and then, so the staff is the same. It hasn't changed with me, Pamela, and Bruce. We have Jerry, who we have working through an employee leasing company that comes in and works with us on the days that we need him. And then we've also revamped our cleaning schedule. We've got a gentleman now who's working under the same cleaning crew. He speaks very little English, but he is a hard worker. He grins and bears it. He can do the work outside and withstand the heat. The plan is for him to be here 4 or 5 days a week. The real plan is for 4, and for the 5th day to be like a rain day or a makeup day if he didn't finish everything. The plan is to have him start 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning with the quiet stuff. That's not going to make any noise or wake anyone up. And then by 8:30, 9 o'clock, when he can turn on the vacuums and the blowers, he can start to finish. But we want someone here every day where they own it and it's their gig. and we should see some improvement there. The other thing is, with the changeover from carpeting to the hard floor, it's gonna make it a lot easier on the cleaners. One thing I'll bring up, because I've had a lot of meetings with the owner of the cleaning company and the manager, and they've got various layers, they're a very organized company, is that, it's probably nobody in this room, but apparently there are some people who are looking to get the people and catch them doing something wrong, or because they've been followed around with video cameras and tape recorders and all sorts of different, things. I couldn't believe it when I heard it. So, I mean, what I would say is give people a chance. We put together a system, but we had 4 or 5 ladies out here cleaning. I didn't think they were doing a good enough job. I felt that one individual should own it. I think those ladies did a very good job in the clubhouse, so I still want them to come to the clubhouse, I told them. But let's have one gentleman own it. Most of the complaints we get, when we do get them, are related to Bruce, that they liked it when he cleaned the hallways better, but, well, everybody would ask for Bruce, actually, not George, but either one, I guess, they both. George doesn't work here anymore, unfortunately, and that's that. And Bruce doesn't want to clean hallways anymore. He's moved past that point. If we ask him to clean hallways, he'll fill in for a couple of days, but that's about it. He wants to do the job that he has now. So I hope, let's give this guy a chance. I noticed it's been quieter as far as anyone saying anything negative about it, although I haven't been here for a couple of days last week, so maybe I just missed it. But I think we've got a solid program now. I followed up with the management of Crystal Clean. They are very comfortable and happy with it. And if we can get the quality up there to a level that we accept, and we've got the clubhouse now with the bathrooms getting cleaned properly and everything like that, we're on our way. The cost to do this, to increase the manpower, the hours that are here, is $270 a month more. I think it comes to $85 a week or something like that, or even less. It's a no-brainer as long as it works. If it doesn't work, then we're probably going to look elsewhere. And that, the owner of the company, I've had that agreement since day one. If it's not working out for either side, then we move on and wish each other the best. So that, is not something we're scared to do, but let's not play the gotcha type of games, try to catch them, and I don't think they did this, so let's, give people a chance. He's been here a week or two, so that means he's cleaned every building once or twice. Like, let him get into a groove. I'm sure even Bruce, it took him a little bit of time to get real good at it. Everybody, I wasn't the best my first day on the job. Everybody learns as they go. But the video recording and stuff, that was kind of where it crossed the edge, and I thought maybe I should say something. We continue to rebuild the meter rooms. We rebuilt a good majority of them. There are a few that are left. The few that are left are the ones that had like the real doors there, so we have to either do a redesign or figure something out. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just pulled up to the house and trying to patch it with Wi-Fi.
As soon as we're patched in, we'll be good. But the last thing I wanted to just talk about is just turned in by a resident, and it's dated last Wednesday, and it says, "Dear Mrs. So-and-so, we are pleased to inform you that you now qualify to permanently eliminate all future maintenance fees. This includes but is not limited to your 2019 maintenance fee bill. Certain restrictions apply. We've tried to contact you. Please call us. This is your reference number." I would not, if you receive this, trust it. We have no arrangement with any company or anybody that's going to be paying the maintenance fees. I don't know if it's referring to something else, property taxes, or. But I just want keep your eyes open if you see this.
Turn it in.
Well, I mean, it's probably not something right. Something smells fishy there. So I just want to make everybody that's here aware of that.
Who is it from?
It is from a company called Owner Advisory, and it's out of Colleyville, Texas. So,
Yeah, right, uh-huh.
Same
Oh,
as
wow.
timeshare owners.
Could be,
Yeah,
Could
that's
be.
what I
could be,
yeah.
could be.
Either that or they've got a good scam, they should get caught, hopefully.
That's all I have.
Everybody fall for that,
Scott,
they're
Jan's
really
gonna
as
go ahead
dumb
and
as a
read your
post.
treasurer's report since you're on the phone.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, next is the treasurer's report, and I'm gonna go ahead and read this, even knowing that you probably all got it. I wanna be sure you read it. The June balance sheet is attached. Eric can provide any owner with a copy of the full financial if requested. Community insurance. We have renewed the property insurance for the association with Heritage Insurance. The annual premium will increase by approximately 1%. And I want to let you all know that all those things that we weren't covered with the hurricane, the fences and all, they will be covered with this one.
Many other things, not all.
And roofing reserves. We have completed the roofing project slightly under budget. This is a testament to the budget committee for being so diligent in reserving enough money to make sure we could pay for such a large project. And as you all realize, it was a large project. We currently have some large projects in process. The hallway flooring removal is moving along. There are some areas that have damage to the underlying structure. This is going to increase our expenditure, but we have no choice but to proceed. And I'd like to kind of note here, maybe I'm a little out of line doing this, but it will come up later, that yesterday some of us met with the how did you say their name? Elias brothers, and about this, and it was phenomenal to me. They have pictures of every single thing they are doing. They show where they dug it out because the water damaged it. That all has to be filled in. And now when we bid this, when we had this bid, there was no price you could put on that. So we had to get an estimate, or we had to get an estimate what it was going to be, and we have to live with that. But nonetheless, these guys, I'm telling you, it was just amazing. And they had the pictures taken out of it and everything, and then they had a final sheet with everything on it and the amount that we had to pay for. And these first units were the worst, and we hope they were the worst that there were in this. But it's all going along extremely well. Those guys, they know. He kept saying, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. And they do know what they're doing. There is no question to it.
With the exception of some of the damage that we're finding, I mean, there's a lot of cracking, we knew that already. But the concrete damage, most of it's the stairwells, and those are just like little spots where it's not very expensive and they can do it. But on the first building, where there was a problem 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago with water getting from one lanai down to another, I don't know if it's interrelated with that, but that landing on that stairwell was totally hollow, had a lot of damage to it. It's going to have to totally be reported, the rebar reconditioned and then report. So that's where building 1 is going to bear a little more additional cost, hopefully, than building 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We hope not to see that again.
But then they showed us pictures with, on these people that put the carpet in, they were going to clean up the old glue. Well, they just put more and more and more. And he had one picture about this size, and up here he said, look at the glue, and there was a little glue here, and then this whole other thing was just a mess of glue. And I mean, it was very, very interesting. And I'm construction. I know a little bit about construction anyhow, but I just.
But they, I mean, I walked the building and we looked at every single spot, and then we made sure to have photo documents of every single spot, and hopefully this stuff doesn't add up to a point where it's unbearable. We've got more than enough money, I think, reserved to absorb a lot of it, And I'm hoping that the only landing is like that. They've torn out a lot of carpeting, and that's the one that they came to me and they were real worried about and scared. So, so other than that, we should be hopefully okay.
And then the last thing on his treasury report is the seal coating, which Eric has already mentioned. We haven't paid the company anything and won't until the job is complete. The schedule had been delayed due to weather, as you all know. Some people can't understand that, but it's expensive. My son was on a job the other day, must have been upstairs, and I forget who it was, but it was some kind of a company, and he was doing something up there, and the woman down the bottom said, "You gotta stop making all that noise. That's gonna cost me $1,000 this day." And Freddie said, "Well," he said, "I'm gonna tell you something, ma'am." He said, "We're doing the best we can. I hope to be out of here with that noise today." But he said, "I have 7 men working here, and if they all leave and go home, how much money do you think it's gonna cost them? Or cost us, you know?" So anyhow, those things happen, but you just do the very best you can. And the weather's, like he
On the
said,
part
we
of-
have no control.
On the part of the agenda where we talk about the seal coating, that's one thing. I got sick of playing the day-by-day game, and is it gonna rain today or tomorrow, and let's chase our tail and try to tell everybody when it's gonna be. So we said, let's just stop. Let's start over next month. Let's pick the 3 days we need and hope that they're good weather days. So that's what we've done. I've typed up a just kind of an outline or description of what the current plan is, and then we'll go from there. But we just couldn't have it with the cones all over the place and everybody wondering, so this is the route that we're taking.
And the next thing we have is President's Report. Of course, I've gabbed a lot in all these things, and probably will do a little more of that. But now we can go on to the old business update on the seal coat. We pretty much did that, right?
It's pretty much covered.
Okay, update on the hallway flooring, and I think y'all got a pretty good idea of what's going on. And those guys didn't want to just start back there where they were and then go do the whole thing. They have to do it so they can make a little money at it too, you know.
Yeah, they're gonna adjust around a little bit. They're gonna try to, I see them working on those 3-story hallways because they can get more carpet up at a time, and that's more efficient to them at first. But they know they're gonna have to go back and do the 2 stories, which $99.50 is partially grinded down and turned out very nice. They're doing a good job with the grinding, getting it down to bare concrete, exactly what we need. So they have good grinders. And if anybody has any questions about what's going on with it or anything like that, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email or come and see me.
Okay, now the update on the dog park. The dog park is about near finished.
Yeah, the dog park's essentially done. We have to install the little waste station and some hardware on the gates and stuff like that, just some basic odds and ends type of thing.
But some people have their dogs in there already.
But I know there's been some dogs using it and enjoying it already.
You like it?
And I'm hoping that the people who were against it come around if it doesn't end up having a negative impact on anything that they do, and everybody's satisfied. So I think it looks nice, that's one thing. And so we'll have questions at the end of the meeting related to anything we talked about.
Okay, on new business, the property insurance, and we already touched base on that too. And was there anything else you wanted to mention about that?
That's the policy that runs about $200,000 and change, and it only went up by about 2%, and that's actually due to some things that we wanted to add in that we wanted added in. So I think we would feel fortunate, because one thing we were worried about was a big bump year 2 after the hurricane. At least that's what happened historically, was the first year it kind of stayed the same, and then the next year it ballooned. And that didn't happen to us this time, or it hasn't happened to us for this coming year. So that's a big win for the community to help keep the dues at a stable level, because that's one of the top expenses.
Okay, then we wanted to mention a little bit about the architectural review process. I think most of you know about that. If you're going to make any changes, you need to come to the board and go to the architectural review.
Yeah, the board back in, forget the exact date, I think it was 2010 or 2012, it must have been 2010. They adopted an architectural review manual. And that manual has policies outlined for most of the different improvements that anybody would make. You know, every day somebody's thinking of a new idea and there's a new improvement that could be made, so we have to adjust it accordingly, or the architectural review committee has to make their decision accordingly. But it outlines the policies very specifically exactly what it is, and the reason for it is because by choosing to live in a community like this, you don't live in a vacuum or a bubble. What you do affects your neighbor and affects the person on the other side of the community and down the street and all over the place, because it's to protect your property values. If tomorrow you woke up, and this is an extreme example of it, but if tomorrow you woke up and the house next door to you is the new Barbie house and it's bright pink, and you're trying to sell yours, positive or negative, it's going to affect the sale of your home, you know, depending on, I guess, who's buying. So that's why we have the process, essentially. The other thing is for the comfort and consistency of the neighborhood. We have on the condos, the upper floor has to put a sound deadener underneath a hard surface flooring. That to prevent the people below from hearing every little thing that you do, you know? It benefits both, I think.
They got forgotten.
So, just to remind everybody, if you ever have any questions, the pamphlet itself can seem very cumbersome and large, and if I got it, I probably wouldn't want to read it either. But I'll help you, I'll sit down with you, fill it out. Most of the stuff that you guys want to do is routine stuff. Every once in a while, we get something new or different, and then we have to go to the actual architectural review committee. But that is the rare exception. Usually we're able to get it done. But it's important that everybody does it. That's the most important thing. And if you question whether or not you should, come and ask, or give me a call and ask.
All right, then one thing I'd like to mention too, on the dog leashes, and this is not about the dog park, but on the dog leashes, you know, sometimes people have their dogs on those leashes that go
They're
retractable, and they'll be on one side and the dog's on the other side of the street. Please, please watch that. That's dangerous for other people.
Yeah, I've actually even heard of somebody, or multiple people, I don't know, because I've actually heard of a few, that the person will be on the first floor and the dog will be on the second floor.
What?
And, you know, that can scare someone coming out of their house or something. It's just, they're fun, those retractable leashes, but, and a few years ago, there was a push to ban them in the community. And rather than do that, we tried to educate people on how to use them the right way.
Get the ones with the tape. You can see them.
And maybe we'll dig that out and put that out again. Because I think educating is better than legislating if we can, and just saying no more. But it is a safety thing, especially because that retractable part is usually just a black cord, unless you have one that has flags on it,
The tape.
a certain brand.
It's fluorescent.
So if you're driving and it's dark outside and the road is black, and the blacktop is perfectly black because we're just retarded and everything is, you can't see it, you know, there's just more liable to be an accident and a tragedy because you got a dog or a person or something.
Okay, I know that, first I'd like to say, is there any business which may lawfully come before the board? Is there anyone that has anything to say about something which we've discussed here?
One thing-
I'd like, this lady wanted to make a remark, so. Would you come up here and make you don't want to come up here?
I'll
Tell
talk loud. I just wanted to thank you for the dog park. It's going well. And we do have a receptacle in there, which I wasn't expecting. The only thing I was going to say is that the lawn people don't mow in there.
They mowed in there a week ago. I was over there when he was
Yeah.
doing it.
One time, but I go there every day, and today it's, you know, it's real tall. So I just thought maybe you could throw a reminder
Yeah,
for them. I just don't want any, those frogs in there, or,
yeah.
and if the,
Oh,
the lawn's-
God, yes.
Yeah, so if the lawn's low, but I appreciate the park. My dog loves it. I mean, she just goes in and lays down, but she loves it though, you know.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you. Somebody else? Yes, go ahead. You coming up?
I just want to ask a question. You talked about things that were being finished with the roofing project. What about the ceiling repairs from the skylights?
The ceiling repairs, we're gonna come and look at each one individually, because
Okay.
obviously
Right.
each one is gonna have its own,
Yet
a
to
little bit
come.
different came down. Yeah, so yet to come, but that's in the works also, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
I just wanted to express what's immediately coming,
Yeah.
not that we're gonna wait long on the.
You'll get
Yes,
there,
sir.
I trust it,
I
thank you.
just had a question, on the concrete, they're tearing the carpets out and so forth.
Yeah.
In the front of our condo, as you walk in, there's a dip, and every time it rains, there's about ankle-high water in there. Are they gonna fill that in with concrete?
You know, we're gonna look at different spots, and we will re-slope some areas. I don't specifically know of that area, but maybe you can show me one day.
Okay.
And we can see, but they will be doing some re-sloping. Don't expect perfection though. Remember the buildings are 34 years old, they're as old as me, so.
Oh, that's old, isn't it?
I think that's funny that it's the same year.
Anything else? Yes, sir?
Yeah, my wife has a question.
I think she put her hand up. Wife, would you please get up and say something?
I just want to know how soon our 9650 is going to be removed the carpet. How soon do you think?
I can't hear you, honey.
How soon 9650 will remove the carpet? I cannot tell you a time frame. If I tell you something, it'll just be making it up, honestly.
In all honesty, can you explain a little bit how they're gonna proceed?
Well, the process is just very difficult. For those of you who saw when we were doing some and when the one was done right out here, it's a very difficult, cumbersome process, takes them a long time, and we don't know how long a building is gonna take or not. So, the answer to the question is, when would I like to see 9650's carpet removed? Yesterday. When will it be? I wish I could tell you an exact answer. I know that the board and the Elias brothers and myself, we want to get it all done as quickly as we can, but also a good job, So I'd like to say within 4 or 5 weeks, the whole thing will be done, and maybe by September we're good,
So can
but
our
I
carpet be
can't promise
cleaned
that.
before it is done? Because it is horrible. It really is bad.
Can our what?
The carpet that Mike was talking about, can that be cleaned in the meantime?
If somebody lets us know about it, sure. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it is, you need to go and
Sure.
check it out.
Yeah, no, I just heard about it at the beginning of the meeting, so.
Eric, can you explain a little bit? I know it's gonna take a long time to take the carpeting out, but the intentions are to do all the carpeting and then go back and do the repairs. And the grinding,
Well, and
what's
they'll have
going on?
different crews in. I mean, as it goes in, they can flood this place with 50 guys if needed. But they're making their way through. Each one has cracks and repairs that need to be made. Then there's caulking and sealing. Then there's a special sealant that has to be sprayed on all the concrete to make sure the rebar doesn't rust again. Then the repairs are made. Then the painting. So I mean, there's about a dozen steps in this. So, like I said, if it was a piece of cake, we would have had them all done last summer, and I wouldn't have called in the big guns like we did. But it's a difficult job. So, if I promised you September 5th,
No, but you're gonna do it in stages. Each building is gonna be done in stages, is that
yeah, I
correct?
mean, they may decide to move over here for a certain reason, there's better access to whatever they're doing, but everything is gonna, they're trying to create an assembly line type of system.
Okay,
And one group, there's a certain level of skill involved in restoring steel rebar and repouring concrete landings that are elevated. That's for skilled labor. I'm sure they're not gonna pay those same guys what they demand to rip up carpet, that's unskilled labor. So they have different crews for different jobs, and actually the painting crew that'll be here to paint at the end will be the same crew that painted our buildings the last couple of times, or at least the same boss. I don't know about the employees.
Okay, is there anything else? Yes?
Yeah, just two things. Thank you for the sod, and thank you to my neighbor who watered the sod and kept it alive. Because it would have been
You're
dead.
welcome.
And secondly, the hurricane damage on the roof on 4701 still isn't finished. That stairwell, that second stairwell, has no underlying, under the bridge, there's nothing protecting the roof. It's still missing. I mean, we're
Yeah,
at the line.
that's right. Exactly. When I addressed Mike this earlier in the meeting, Frank's is going to be out here to repair that
Oh, good.
any day.
And are they gonna replace the hole, the wood that had the hole in it above our stairwell on 4701?
Frank's is not going to touch the roof at this time. But they didn't do crown roofing, did that, so that's going to go
So that's still
through
part
the
of the
crown
lawsuit?
roofing process. Huh?
That's still part of the lawsuit, or is
Well, there is
there-
no lawsuit at this time. There's just a legal matter that's being addressed, but you know, you just kind of have to let it go through the process. There's no leak. There's no imminent danger. So we just have to kind of let the process play out.
So it's still in process? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you all for being here. The meeting is now adjourned.